Hi all, I'm Amanda Post, and in this video for the extra credit assignment, I'm going to talk about 5 traits of a good CEO, 5 traits of a bad CEO, and then finish off discussing my opinion on the CEO scenario shared in Tim's video and how I would confront the situation as a board member. While there are a lot of traits of a good CEO, I chose to share the top 5 that were important to me. The first may seem pretty obvious, but it's important nonetheless, and that's the ability to be innovative. Having new ideas and being able to think outside the box really drives business forward. Being innovative also includes a willingness to take risks, which can be hard for even the most senior managers to do. The market changes all the time, and the CEO needs to be able to think outside the box and be unique enough to make their company stand out from the rest and to be successful. While this can show confidence, it also helps them to grow as a leader as well. Another trait is realistic optimism. They need to be able to be realistic about situations while also boosting morale and being motivational when necessary. This can help keep the employees going and give them hope for something to work for. The CEO needs to be passionate about and strive to meet his goals and the company's goals, but also understand and be aware of the challenges in front of them. They need to be able to tell when situations are good or bad or even serious, instead of being overly optimistic and wearing rose-colored glasses. As they say, when wearing rose-colored glasses, red flags just look like flags. I previously worked for an office supply company, and one of the items we sold was paper. Think Dunder Mifflin, but actually we sold Dunder Mifflin branded paper as well. The CEO had a hard time accepting the fact that the paper industry wasn't doing well. So as a member of the finance team, we were constantly chasing negative numbers to come up with new explanations for poor paper performance. The CEO was not being realistic about the paper market or trying to be innovative to determine a better strategy. In relation to this last trait, another trait that's important is the ability to adapt. They need to be able to adapt to different situations, working with different people, communicating with different people, whether it's the employee on the assembly line or the most senior board member. They need to be able to adapt to different management styles when necessary, and they also need to be able to adapt their thought processes and ideas to changes in the market and the economy. Strong communication skills is one of the most important traits I believe a CEO can have. They're communicating with multiple different audiences, from the media, investors, their employees, board members, and their leadership team. With each audience requires a different level and style of communication, and to be able to alter that style to fit the audience is a necessity. They need to be able to effectively communicate goals and needs, but be able to delegate work as necessary, be motivational, and boost morale. They also need to be honest. When something is wrong or there's a serious situation that's occurring, whether directly inside the company or outside the company that can become impactful, being honest is critical to success. Communicating isn't just talking, though. It involves listening, and the CEOs have to have good listening skills to help them actively seek out and utilize direction from others. I've worked for companies before where the CEOs have been overconfident and refused to address bad economic market situations, and in the end, they weren't trusted by most of the company. However, the company I work for now has great leadership and knows how to address the company in a way to keep us motivated, but remains realistic about situations. For instance, with Trump's Tax Act went into effect, our company saw a lot of tax savings, as did many other companies. However, most companies were being told by their CEO that they had planned on investing 100% back into the employees. My company was honest from the beginning, saying, yes, we do plan to invest a portion back into our employees because our employees are important and they're an asset, but we're also going to buy a bunch of our stock, as well as most other companies will. When other companies ended up buying back their stock and not investing those tax savings into the employees of those other companies were mad that they'd been lied to and felt misled, and a lack of trust for their leadership. Myself and my fellow employees weren't mad at our leadership, as they did what they said they would do, which is buy back some of the stock, but also invest a lot back into us. The CEO and leadership team did a great job at effectively communicating with us. One last trait I'd like to talk about, which may not seem important to some people but is important to myself, is to have a good personality. This includes having good listening skills and being positive and optimistic and being passionate about the company and its employees. But it also means being able to understand, sympathize, and empathize with the employees, making sure that there's someone the employees like, trust, can relate to on some level, and can build a relationship with. They should also be confident without being arrogant. If your CEO is never walking past you in the hallways, never says hi while getting coffee, and is never seen in the employee lunchroom, that may be a sign of an arrogant and high horse ideology. As with good traits a CEO can have, there are a lot of bad traits a CEO can have that can be detrimental to their company. The first, which I think is one of the most important, is not surrounding themselves with diversity, and instead surrounding themselves with people who don't challenge their decisions or opinions and can help enable a CEO to do whatever they want to do. CEOs should surround themselves with people who think differently than they do so they can see all sides of an issue. When they surround themselves with people who think only like them and have the same opinions and strategies as themselves, they can be blind to other options and thought processes. Another trait is when they care about money more than the customers or employees. They aren't worried about being innovative or doing the right thing. They're worried about the bottom line, no matter if it means treating their employees poorly, treating their customers poorly, and in the long run, being immoral. While I've touched on having good communication skills in my top traits, having poor communication skills should be retouched upon as a bad trait. When a CEO's actions don't match their words or they're dishonest, they can create a bad company culture, create a lack of trust, and are ineffective in relating their vision and their goals to others and to be able to be successful in the long run. Being overly optimistic is another negative trait of a CEO. When this is the case, the CEO may think that they can do no wrong, that they're untouchable, that things will always go well, and that they don't have to adapt or change. What's worse is when they're optimistic to the point where they get nothing done, which in turn makes the company stagnant and unsuccessful. They can get stuck inside their own head and fail to be realistic, which even when they do understand the risk, they can put on a false face for the rest of the company, and that can hinder performance and trust as well. One negative trait I'd like to mention is the inability or unwillingness to create a good company culture. A good culture is important to a company, not just in terms of getting people in the door and staying at your company, but defining and creating a culture helps empower and motivate teams. CEOs that don't create a culture may have a hard time seeing the ROI of a company's culture or its employees and may not understand the importance of unity, which can lead to a whole plethora of different problems that I'm not touching on today. I know I've talked about CEO traits for a while, and I'd like to change topics a bit and move on to the scenario Tim discussed in the video regarding the well-loved CEO with stagnant growth performance. The CEO of this company had been around for 25 years. He's grown up in the business, worked his way up from the bottom just like the rapper Drake, and people love him. However, the challenge is that they've had no growth or loss for the past 4 years. There are challenges in the plant, and they can't seem to get through production like they need to. They also have a turnover problem with key personnel because they can't seem to compete with the job market. For the most part, this CEO sounds like a great CEO personality-wise. A CEO that people like and trust is an asset to a company and can be hard to come by. Trust and love for a CEO also takes a long time to build, so I would be really hesitant to throw that away so quickly. It seems like in this case, getting rid of the CEO may not be the best course of action. Instead, he may just need some help with a few things, and because a lot of people like and trust him, he should have a pretty strong following for the direction he decides to take the company, even if it may be a completely different direction. My interpretation is that the CEO has a hard time with change. Yes, he's gone through the ranks of the company, so he's seen different things there, but he hasn't left in 25 years, and that's pretty uncommon for a CEO. He also hasn't seemed to change any strategies, which in turn is causing the year-over-year flatness. I believe if he were offered coaching on how to drive some change, along with potentially changing up some of the leadership team who report to him and may provide him with new ideas and strategies, he may have better success in driving initiatives and meeting company goals. In terms of not being able to keep key personnel because of the market, it almost sounds too hard to believe. Many people won't leave good CEOs unless there's really not being compensated appropriately and the culture of the company is bad or inexistent. In turn, a few tweaks to the company, like offering better compensation packages, employee training programs, and making sure to stimulate and promote a good work-life balance and company culture, while it may cost some money, could definitely change the turnover rate in the long run, which in turn could pay for itself. Thanks for watching, and I hope I answered all of your questions, but feel free to email me or message me with any questions or feedback you might have. Happy week 5!